everyone. I, Mudita Raj, Assistant Professor, Delhi Metropolitan Education, welcome you all to the third episode of Vibrant India series. Vibrant India series is an initiative of DME Media School for celebrating 75 years of India's independence. As a part of this series, we invite inspiring personalities for online talk, interview, and interaction with the students. This series will be a year-long exercise. It gives me great pleasure to inform all our audiences that we are live on Facebook. The personality chosen for this series will be from all walks of life and from all parts of the country. Our personality for today is Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury, a media academician, practitioner, educationist, and a columnist. I would now like to take a moment and introduce Delhi Metropolitan Education. DME is an A-grade premier educational institute affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, New Delhi, and approved by the Bar Council of India. The institute offers BBA, BA LLB, BBA LLB with BCI approval and BA JMC programs. DME believes in imparting world-class education to its students while training them to develop and enhance their skills. This education and training enables them in taking up challenges of the industry and creating a space for themselves with the competence and vigor. DME Media School is one of the most promising media institutes of the country. It offers BA in journalism and mass communication. It is recognized as a school focused on the growth of its faculty and students through academic and co-curricular activities. Major flagship events and initiatives of the school include BG Varghese Lecture Series, Peer-to-Peer FDP, International Film Festival SIFI, International Conference ICANN, and Mega Media Fest Pritika. I now request Tanishka, student DME Media School, to introduce our guest for the day. Tanishka.
Thank you, ma'am. Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury is a maverick who travels between media academics and media practice, between profession and social activism, between traveling and state put. Currently, the Secretary of Global Media Education Council, until recently the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Kolkata-based Advamas University. Sir had earlier been the Dean of Symbiosis and Amity Universities, apart from Pearl Academy and Whistling Woods International. Sir has been a wanderer, working as a media consultant in Nepal, consulting with Amsterdam Film School in Netherlands, working on film for WHO in several notions, and working with Accor Media in Dubai. He speaks and writes on various platforms and works in civil society initiatives on media, youth entrepreneurship, and democracy. Let us look at some glimpse of his life.
Joining us today. It is indeed an honor to host you. I now request Dr. Susmita Bala, Head DME Media School, to welcome the guest. Ma'am.
Thank you, Mudita. Welcome everybody in this third episode of Vibrant India series. We launched this digital program on August 9 on the anniversary of Quit India movement. Vibrant India series is a tribute to all those people who made India supreme sacrifices for the independence of our motherland. India will be completing 75 years of independence next year. We have started celebrations this year only. This program has been launched as a part of these celebrations. In the first episode of Vibrant India series, our guest was Brigadier P.K. Saxena, who served the country as a soldier, protecting the country on its borders. In the making of this country, we all play our roles as doctors, engineers, educators, also as human rights activists and environment activists. In second episode, we had invited an environment activist, Ms. Bhavreen Kandari, one who has been fighting to keep our lungs clean. Today, in third episode, we have invited very known personality, Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury. He is educator, column writer, and renowned person. I welcome you, sir, in this program. Thank you. Thanks to all present here.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, without much delay, I hand over the forum to Dr. Amrit Saxena, Dean DME Media School and ideator of VIS Vibrant India series, to carry forward the program. Sir?
Thank you, Mudita. So obviously, as we all know that today's guest is Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, who in fact needs no introduction. He is such a person who has done a lot of contribution to education in general and media education in particular. And not only the education, he has made immense contribution in media industry. He is the only one person in the media education sector who has an expertise both in academics and the practice and the industry, because he continuously write columns, he write on contemporary issues, and he is so well versed as to what all is happening. He is trying to infuse all that the feeling of inspiration, the feeling of motivation among all the young people. So that is how we have chosen such a personality for this episode of Vibrant India series, because the whole program is a focus on this only when we are completing 75 years of independence next year. So we all thought in DME Media School, we should do something to make our students more inspired, more motivated to do something substantial, something good, not only in their life, but to contribute something to serve the nation by doing something for the good cause. So I welcome Professor Chowdhury for this program, and then I'll request him to please address the students.
I really don't know why Ambrish ji and DME Academy has chosen me to be the person of the day on inspiration. Let me begin by telling, when I was in class 3, I was in a school from class 1 to 3, which was called Sharanarthi Aboitanik Prathamik Vidyalaya. That means a free school for the children of refugees, because I might have been born in 1960s, but my parents had come from what is now known as Bangladesh in 1950s. That means during the partition, just after the partition of India, 1950 itself. They were later on married in Bengal, and I was born later on in mid-60s, 65. So at that time, the school that was available to me, and my father was an army doctor, my younger siblings were with him, with parents in Arunachal Pradesh, and I was in Barakpur, and a student of a free school for the children of the refugees, where we used to sit on the ground because I had an operation on my leg, so I was given a stool to sit. Others sat on the ground, chatai ke upar. So I passed class 3 and went on to Ramakrishna Mission along. I don't know what happened. Swami Gautamananda ji, who was the principal at that time and currently the vice president of Global Ramakrishna Mission worldwide, he just asked my parents, why don't you put this child also here? My parents just wished it away. He doesn't know English. He is very poor in his knowledge and all that. So he gave me the story of Cinderella to read, and I was unable to even pronounce Cinderella because it was a big long word, Cindrella. So, and I was reading Beauty But, Beauty Put, CAT Cat in class 3 in Bengali medium in a primary school for the refugee children. Still, Swamiji said, let him be in class 4 because he has already passed class 3 in Bengali medium. So I was put in class 4. 3 months later, there was a quarterly exam. I failed in every subject except mathematics, and I was demoted to class 3. All of a sudden, I found that the Maharaj ji, the vice principal, came and brought me to class 3, and the class 3 students were very amused. A senior was put among them, and it was such a shame for me. That's what my academic life starts, and you find it inspiring. Anyway, that's okay. So that went on. That was my first inferiority and a sort of thing. Second, my brother, who was 2 years younger to me, I'm saying he was because he's no more alive, who was 2 years younger to me, he taught me Hindi because I did not know ABCD or Kakho of Hindi. Because my second language, my first language was Bangla in the school, primary school, and second was English. And my English was very bad. My sister, who is 4 years younger to me, 4.5 years, she taught me English, beyond beauty, beauty but beauty put. So that's how began my life. It's a different thing that later on I got 9th rank in CBSE All India, top rank, the number 1 rank in the Northeast and Eastern India, 12 states of Eastern Northeast India. Then in class 12, I was Ramakrishna Mission Narendrapur student, which is the best Ramakrishna Mission school among all the schools around the world that RKM runs. And in class 12, I stood first in English in West Bengal because the class 12 school was in West Bengal board, and then went on to Jadavpur University, and that's a different story. So it started that way. The second inferiority complex. My brother is handsome, was handsome, taller, quite healthy guy. My sister has been very reasonably, I must say, good looking. And I have an operation on my left leg, so I limp a bit. So that created the second inferiority complex after not knowing English and Hindi and being demoted by 1 year. So I used to come by the army vehicle, that was Shaktiman, if you know what is Shaktiman, a truck type big one with a covered one, where the soldiers go in the borders of the country. You see that big truck type car, that is called Shaktiman. 42 kids we were, and in that school. So when I was in class 10, by that time I was already topper of the class 8 onwards. So in 10, there was a classmate of mine, Pankaj Arora, who used to mock at me and all that, and abusive language, langada and all that. And I used to get very irritated. He used to beat his younger sister also quite a bit. The younger sister was only 6-7 years old, in class 2 or 3, something like that. I used to beat, and he used to trouble everyone and mock at me. Couldn't beat, obviously, classmate, but then could mock at me and all that. And I used to come and complain to my mother. After a few days, my mother once told, ignore it. His mother has passed away. His father is married as another lady, and that lady is much younger to his father. And there is a child born. The sister is born from the second mother. And every day there will be some complaint by the mother about the son, about Pankaj to the father, and the father will beat him up with belt. And all his frustration he would, express while going to school by beating the younger sister, that means sister born to his second mother. And also because the father tells, and his father was boss of my father, and the father would say, see, my subordinate son is standing first in the class and you are just hovering around 50-55%. So he has to express that frustration this way. My mother just casually told me because I was every day complaining. Now I had a big intelligence. And then I went to the next day to while going to the school, he was again, telling something. And I all of a sudden stood up and said, you're expressing your frustration because your second mother, your stepmother doesn't love you, because the stepmother complains to your father and you get beaten up, and blah, 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 blah. And with every sentence, Pankaj, you have to see his face. He's as if the blood was going out of his body. He was becoming white because he was caught on the wrong foot, and he just slumped on the ground and was silent. And I had a victorious smile. I had done a big thing. I have had a victory finally. So I came home and told my mother, today I silenced him. I spoke like this. And I thought my mother will say, bravo. She came and slapped me 5 times, left, right, and center, 5 times. And I was astonished. I was, why are you doing this? Well, I told you something to make you, accept the situation and be calm. I didn't tell this to you to make him feel inferior, feel sad. You have actually hurt his ego. Could have done one-to-one also talk. Why in front of everyone? Someone who was a hero because he's well built, he's handsome, strong guy, good in sports, very good in sports he was. So he had that bully image. Now you could have told him. So next day I went and in front of all, I said, Pankaj, I'm sorry. Though this is true what I said yesterday, that doesn't mean that this is, and something I told to cut it short. And he came and started weeping, he hugged me. Till today, Pankaj Arora, Brigadier Pankaj Arora, Indian Army, and me are great friends till today. So the point what I'm trying to say is that sometimes what we think as our success, our victory is actually a symbol of how mean we are, how ordinary we are. So frankly, revenge is not something that we will or we should aim for. Revenge makes us come to the level of the person who might have wronged us in the first place. It's not revenge. It's reconciliation. Reconciliation is the point. You are young people in the audience. Most of you might be 19, 20, 21. You will have heartbreaks in life. Heartbreaks from within the family. Heartbreaks with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Heartbreaks in the place where you work. But the answer to that, answer to anything bad in life is not to be equally bad. Answer to anything bad in life is to do the alternative good and silently maybe exhibit, if not loudly, silently show that you can do it and do it better. So the point is, please do not be judgmental. We are all too much judgmental about things, about people. Even before we meet, by looking at the face, by looking, and in India, by knowing the name, we judge by community, we judge by color, we judge by caste, we judge by beauty or so-called beauty and non-beauty, and too much of premium we give to facial beauty. So these parameters of judgment creates a small boundary within which we limit ourselves. Someone who doesn't look so great, apparently, might be a great guy and or girl, and you could have done something very fabulous with that person at work or in life, but you miss out on the opportunity because on the very first day, you have judged the person to be XYZ types. And that happens with surnames, that happens with the language people speak, and that happens with many, many other things. We have these false notions. There's, oh, someone's food habit is such, means the person will be such and such. I'm not naming the food habits and the types, but we have our own understanding of such things. And these create a limited life. I had this inferiority that I have an operation on my left leg, and therefore the leg is half an inch short, left one. So I can't travel around the world. I can't do much things. I was a table tennis player, even with that leg. Now I cannot play much. But that was the only thing that I had to compromise, nothing else. 36 nations I have traveled, worked in 11 countries till date, and worked across 7 states of India. The only flip side to it, that even though I'm in my mid-50s, I have already changed job 12 times. And in spite of being a pro vice chancellor of a university in India with ₹500 crore income a year officially in white, I left the job on 31st July, only 17 days ago, to do something, multiple things, more meaningful, try out for some time. You can always go back to the university once again, some other university maybe. But the point is, this just now, you need not be exactly, and everyone need not be the same type. I am not even glorifying that, but I'm only telling that you must have a particular way of thinking, way of doing things, and be proud about that and be focused on that. You are not defined by the job you do. You are defined by the goals you have. Job is the expression, a manifestation of the goals that you have at a point of time. Do not seek jobs, seek a career, seek a meaningful life. That meaningful life will define who you are. So that's one thing I would like to tell at the beginning. The guy who was my classmate in class 10 and who stood second, I stood first in that batch. I was a national rank holder, as I told you, 9th in the country in CBSE. And at that time, CBSE used to officially come out to the top 20 list and even call them in Delhi and even felicitate them with silver and gold medals and all that. We also got it. I got even 5,000 rupees. At my childhood, 5,000 was a big money, by the way. So my first salary in life was 720 rupees per month. So 5,000 was, and that 720 came at the 23rd year of my life. So at 16 years, when you pass class 10, 5,000 was like a big money. I don't know, it might be a lakh of rupees today, or maybe 70, 80,000 rupees today. So, that time when I had gone there and had come back, so at class 11, my father, because he was a doctor, he admitted me in the physics, chemistry, biology combination, thinking that the doctor ka bachcha to doctor hi banega. And he went back. Later on, 11, 12 was over, and he was expecting me that I'll sit in the medical college admission test after class 12. And when class 12 exams were over, he asked me, when are you sitting for the medical exams? He was away because he was in army. He was away on phone. That time it was trunk call and no mobile phone. So on the trunk call, I said, I am not sitting for medical exam. I said, why? I have left biology long back in class 11 and did not inform you because you would not like it. My combination is physics, chemistry, mathematics, and additional political science. He was so frustrated. He just kept the phone down, stopped talking to me, and told mother that he is, for me, he is dead. In Bengali, there's a word called Tejjo Putro, a son who is discarded. Tejjo Putro. He said that. Mother tried to assuage, tried to calm him down, but couldn't. So he asked my mother that my mother was also with him at that time in Calcutta, but we'll go back to him. So he told through my mother that no more money will be given to me. I was already 18. I did not accept his decision of being a doctor. So no more money will be given to me. And I started my life at 18 years of age with 250 rupees first tuition of one student. And that was my first earning, because 18 years and 1 month onwards, that is December 18, that year, December onwards, it was, I think, 65, 75, 85, 83. 1983, December onwards, I did not have one more rupee from home. I was very angry on father at that time, but 10 years later, when he finally actually pardoned me, I went and said, you actually made a boy a man by not giving any more money from the 18th year of life. So if sometimes some of your extraordinary demands or some of the expectations that of your parents, if you can't fulfill, and if they can't fulfill some extraordinary demands, do not be actually in anguish. It might actually turn out to be good. That I did not get one more rupee in life from my parents after 18th year of my life actually made me self-sufficient. So 18 to 55, 56 today, I am on my own, always, every time. So the point is, I have made 2 homes. I have had changed so many jobs, have had a reasonably good life. Just now sitting in a Taj Vivanta hotel in Kathmandu and talking to you on the invitation of CG Group, which is the largest corporate of Kathmandu, of Nepal, the only billionaire by dollar in Nepal, for some project which we'll discuss tomorrow. I've just come here today. All these could have been done, did happen because I understood that I have to fend for myself. And that did not take me away. That time I was very angry. I did not talk with father. He did not talk with me for 3-4 years. But later on, he pardoned. And 88 years of life, in 2018, when he was dying, he said, you are the best son that I could have. And in my next life, if I have a son, I should have you. So the point I wanted to tell is that you should not be disturbed by certain things in life to so much that you go away completely from those who actually love you. He wanted me to be a doctor in my own interest because he could give me many things, a network that I could have easily used. A doctor's son become a doctor is easy. My very close friend, this guy, Dr. Kapil Raina, another class 10 classmate, who is one of the best doctors dentist in Delhi, Rajouri Garden, he says. He has his own clinic, also practices in hospitals. Now, his daughter is also a dentist. So she gets many things. The first 5 years struggle she doesn't have to do, because the network of dentists in the country, a set of patients, a set of goodwill and equipments, infrastructure, everything is ready for her. That could have been, that is normal. A lawyer's son, when becoming a lawyer, a set of clients is already there. So it is natural for him to think that I should be a doctor. But I have my life. I cannot be leading my life through the eyes and hopes of the parents. You cannot be doing that yourself. But then going away completely getting disconnected, you'd miss out the other aspects of life with the people who love you. And I did really have a very meaningful life, at least in the last 15 years, with my parents at their old age, when I did not allow my father to spend 1 rupee from his pension for the 26 years of retired life that he had, not even 1 rupee, either for health or for travel or for regular stay. And I bought a house completely for their need, which is my house in Calcutta now. I did not need it because I was in symbiosis, I was in amity, I was traveling across the country and all that. But they needed it, and the house was bought for them. Today, I won't sell that house even for 2 crores of rupees. I won't sell because it has the memory of them. So the point I would like to say, many of the families would have dysfunctionality. I know today, 9 out of 10 marriages are actually non-functional. Even if some of them are there just hanging on for very functional reasons, but they emotionally are dysfunctional. That does not mean we fall victim to those situations. We still can bring in a lot of warmth in that. And if you are lucky to have a very ideal family, which I pray that you have, if you are lucky, great. I was lucky, my parents were a great couple. I wasn't that lucky in my life, but they were a great couple. That was a great lesson. And that also was a reason that the bonding went on till the end. So that's another point. Coming to professional life, there will always be competition. You have a choice. Either you become victim to competition or you go beyond that. So I have a policy. It was taught to me by my social science teacher in class 9-10. The policy is, I compete with my yesterday for a better tomorrow. I compete with no one else. So I have no problem. Ambrish ji is such a handsome man, learned man, great. I have many friends in life who are doing great. The guy who was second in class 10, Shravan Kumar, who later on became a mining engineer, he focused on career, money making and all, very good. And I appreciate taking care of his wife and 2 daughters, and 1 daughter is a doctor now and all that. Today, he owns 10 crores of property. I may not have 20% of that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because he is living his life. I am living my life. And we both know it and enjoy it. He says, I'm jealous of the variety you have in lives around the country, around the world. I say, I'm not jealous, but I'm happy about the security of financial security that you have in life and you have given to your wife and daughters and mother. His father has passed away. And I salute him because his father was deputy commissioner's driver. The driver's son is one of the best known mining engineer, and he works in British shale gas today with a 9 lakh salary per month and 1 month double shift work in the ship at Yemen and at Brunei, Brunei. And the next 1 month is a paid holiday because he's double shift, 16 hours a day, 28 days. The next 28 days is a paid holiday, and he comes to Bombay to his family. So 28 days away from family, 28 days with family, getting 9 lakhs a month. We academicians, half of it or even less. That's fine. That's fine. The beauty is enjoying his experiences. So when I meet him, he tells me the story of mining of oil and how it actually happens, and how that oil is, that liquid is actually turned into energy. And he talks about energy, renewable sources, and a lot of other things which I don't know. And he listens to me on certain things which perhaps a bit of it I know, and that I can tell him. So the point is, look at what people know, experienced, and try to gather fun out of it, knowledge out of it, and a bonding. If you are genuinely interested in someone's life experience, the person is genuinely interested in you. If you're in a hurry to tell what you know to sort of show off, nobody is really impressed. We always think, Dunya kya sochegi? The reality is, Dunya is not even bothered about us. Dunya is not even bothered. We only create an aura of ourselves. मेरे तो 5000 दोस्त थे फेसबुक में, क्राइसिस में 5 भी खड़े नहीं होंगे साथ में. ठीक है, दोस्त हैं तो हैं, कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन ये भी जान के रखो, मतलब सर को रखो आसमान पे लेकिन पैर धरती पे. ये जान के रखो, वो 5000 फेसबुक के फोटोग्राफ्स के लिए दोस्त हैं, 5 भी रियल दोस्त नहीं. अगर 5 से ज्यादा है तुम्हारे रियल दोस्त, यानी तुम जबरदस्त अच्छे हो. और जो स्कूल के जो दोस्त थे ना, वही असली दोस्त हैं, क्योंकि स्कूल वाले दोस्ती में कोई धंधा नहीं था, लेना देना नहीं था. लेकिन आज जो दोस्ती बनती है ना, 25 साल के बाद जो सारी दोस्तियां बनती है, 90%, 100% तो नहीं, 90% से ज्यादा लेन देन है, ट्रांजैक्शनल. फ्रेंडशिप विद बेनिफिट्स, फ्रेंड्स विद बेनिफिट्स, यू नो दैट, FOB आपका लैंग्वेज है, FOB. So you'll have to really understand the difference between acquaintance and friends. Friendship which is completely selfless, and friendship which is a bit transactional, it's fine. Transactional hona bhi swabhik hai duniya mein. So in career, do not compete with others, collaborate. अब कोई भी ये बहुत लगेगा कि क्या झूठ मूठ की बात है यार, बचपन से कंपटीशन सुनते आए. हाँ, मुझे मालूम है, जन्म के साथ साथ सबको कंपेयर किया जाता है अगले पिछले वाले भाई बहन के साथ. वो कितना सुंदर था, वो तो अच्छा से बात उतरते मतलब धरती पे आती हंसने लगा था, वगैरह वगैरह. उसके बाद कंपेयर किए जाते हैं आसपास के बच्चों के साथ, रिलेटिव्स के बच्चों के साथ, देन peers, and all your life you keep comparing and competing because the world teaches you that. Unfortunately, unconsciously or consciously, even parents and teachers teach you that. भैया देश में इतनी कंपटीशन है, आप कंपटीशन में कैसे आगे बढ़ोगे? और आपके ऊपर एक प्रेशर आ जाता है कि मुझे कंपटीशन में जिंदा रहना है, कंपटीशन में आगे बढ़ना है. अरे मेरी अपनी जिंदगी जीना है, उस जिंदगी जीने के लिए जो चीज मुझे करना है वो अच्छे से करना है, दैट्स फाइन. बट व्हाई डू आई हैव टू कॉम्पीट विद सुष्मिता बालाजी और मुदिता जी और अम्बरीश जी, एनीवन? I mean, they can do things. You can be inspired. I am inspired by ICANN. I told Ambrish ji, I am inspired by ICANN, the 2 physical and the 2 digital ICANNs, and the amount of short films that you have done, amount of content you have packaged together, and within 24 hours you have put it on social media, and the level of the people who have spoken and the level of the people who have attended, and youngsters whose concentration may be sometimes less, in spite of that 400, 500 people are attending. Salute. Salute. Now you learn from it. Now together, Ambrish ji, KG Suresh, me, many others, we are now doing a 75 days program of media and media education, which will come later on from October after Navratri. Now that's inspiration is from ICANN. The inspiration is from AIMC program done by Sanjeev Bhanawat and Kalyan Kothari earlier in Jaipur and Udaipur, physical conferences. So you get inspired. If you compete, you miss out that inspiration. If you compete, you miss out that inspiration because you are competing. So everyone's beauty you cannot see, everyone's dirty you can see. Because the mind is competing, so your mind searches the dirt in others. If the mind is not competing, the mind searches the beauty in others. So it's significant. Blindly कहना हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं और हिंदुस्तान महान है is also stupid. और ये कहना कि मेरे देश में कुछ होगा ही नहीं, सब बकवास है, वो the other end of stupidity. There are many limitations of India, and you and I need to really correct them in our own way. Then there are many strengths of the country as well. So extremes mein jeena right nahi hai. And every situation for every person or society is not always good or neither bad. It changes, it evolves from time to time. So the point is, like, experience is something that you can be proud of. Sometimes resources help. If you have resources, you can do many things. So it's good to be earning a decent salary or doing a decent business. If you have confidence in yourself and you love to be on your own, great to be doing business as well. So in career, you don't compete, just search within and make yourself a better person, a better professional, or a better business person. It's important to build bond with the person that you love or settle with or whatever. But the point is, the relationship you build cannot be built on power dynamics, that someone is born to earn for you and someone is born to spend. Someone is born to command and someone is born to follow orders. No. And there will be certain areas where you should follow command because the other person knows that thing better. But there should be other areas where that other person follows what you say because you know that thing better. Does the other person recognize what you know better? Do you recognize what the other person knows better? Or what are, if better or not better, if there is something spark in the other person, do you recognize? So this mutual recognition can make a mutual bond strong. This is a challenge, and it's challenge everywhere, everywhere. I would not go deeper into that unless you ask for that. So, and have seen how tough it is in my own life and elsewhere as well. In many cases, I mean, the marriages that I've attended of my former students, a large number of them are no marriages today. Either they are officially broken or they are almost broken. Okay, if something is broken does not mean the life has ended. There is a rediscovery, whether it's a relationship or a marriage even. There's a rediscovery, and the rediscovery can only happen if you have made yourself strong enough to be on your own feet by your own self. And that's why it's important. Mind should be open to relationship, but mind should never be open to neither dominance nor subservience. It should be uniqueness. People say men and women should be equal. There has to be gender equality. I'm sorry, with my limited knowledge, I will say gender uniqueness and not gender equality. Why should men and women compete at all? There are certain things and it's not about all men and all women. There are certain things where every person, man or woman, whatever, every person is very strong. And there are certain things where every person is very weak. So why not appreciate the strength? Ignore the weakness. So if you compete, when you fail, you are frustrated. And when you succeed, you are egoist. सोच के देखना, अगर दूसरों के साथ आप होड़ में हो, प्रतियोगिता में हो, सफलता आपको अहंकारी बनाता है और विफलता आपको फ्रस्ट्रेट करता है, डिप्रेशन में ले जाता है. And if you don't compete, when you fail, suppose Ambrish ji succeeds in something and in the same thing I have failed, I'll rather talk to him and ask, अरे किया कैसे आपने? चलो बताओ मुझे, हम भी थोड़ा सोचते हैं, अगली बार हम करते हैं इसको. Or if I succeed and suppose he has failed, then I say, if you don't mind, can I help you? So you share when you collaborate. The success brings you humility. The failure brings you the determination to relearn and redo. ये relearn वाला बहुत लोग नहीं कर सकता है ना. मैं with all humility, हम teachers, तथाकथित teachers का ये बड़ा problem है. हम बात कर रहे थे अम्बरीश जी के साथ, किसी को मैंने प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर बोल के पूरा नहीं बताया तो उसका हर्ट हो गया, दिल में बड़ा दुख हो गया. मेरे को प्रोफेसर सो एंड सो बोला, डॉक्टर तो नहीं बोला आपने. अरे आप जानते हो ना, आप डॉक्टरेट किए हुए हो, तो फिर हर बार हर इंसान को आपको डॉक्टर करके बुलाने की जरूरत क्या है? क्या जरूरत है? आपको अगर शक है कि आप डॉक्टरेट किए हुए नहीं हो सही तो आपको दर्द हो सकता है, लेकिन जानते हो जिस कॉन्फिडेंस है, तो फिर क्या प्रॉब्लम है? क्या प्रॉब्लम है? एंड याद नहीं रहता है, कभी कभी लिखते वक्त 4 आदमी ने प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर है, मैं 2 आदमी के लिए बोल दिया प्रोफेसर, एक आदमी के लिए डॉक्टर केवल बोला और एक आदमी को प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर दोनों बोला. बाकी 3 सोचने लगे कि चौथा आदमी को इंपॉर्टेंस बढ़ गया. नहीं, आदमी वही है, इंसान वही है. So point is, we'll have to understand, we are not defined by positions. We are unique by ourselves. Positions are a responsibility at a point of time. and that responsibility has to be handled. For example, professor is a position and doctorate is a qualification. Now it's good to earn that qualification, but doesn't mean that आप bathroom में जाओगे, आप पैदल घूमने जाओगे, आप क्या कहते हैं पार्क में घूमने जाओगे, हर समय आपको सामने एक तो डीआर बोलना ही पड़ेगा. डॉक्टर अम्बरीश ने बोलने से अम्बरीश जी का खाना हजम नहीं होगा, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता ना. व्यक्ति तो व्यक्ति रहेगा ही ना. लेकिन यही केवल टीचर्स पीएचडी वालों की या टीचर्स के लिए नहीं है, ये सब में सच है. जो जिस पोजीशन में है, कंपनीज में अगर कोई सीईओ है और उसके नीचे एक जूनियर मैनेजर ने एक अच्छी बात की, वो फट से पब्लिकली एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर सकता है. हाउ कैन ही टेल हिज एक्सपीरियंस इज ओनली 6 years, I am for 26 years. How can he? आज वो 6 years वाले ज्यादा जानते, कभी कभी ज्यादा जानते हैं. क्यों ज्यादा जानते हैं? The exposure around the world is changed. I will not go on anymore. I will only tell one. Humility is good, but don't be so humble that people suppress you. And confidence is good, but dominance is not. If you have a limitation in your mind, body, background, finance, anything, that's a limitation you have to negotiate. That's not something that should break you. And therefore, I mean, people who body shame, I really hate them, because this whole concept of body shaming is temporary. One who looks very slim and beautiful, उसका 20 साल बाद उसका चेहरा देखने लायक होता है. और जो आज कभी कभी आपको कभी apparently सुंदर नहीं लगेगा, चाहे तो वो डिटर्मिनेशन से काफी फिट भी बन सकते हैं. और दिखना ही जरूरी क्यों है सुंदर? आप तो काम में भी सुंदर हो सकते हो, किसी म्यूजिक में. अब लता मंगेशकर क्या महान सुंदरी है? पिछले 70 साल से लोगों को मतलब उनके वॉइस ने पागल करके रखा हुआ है. चलो पिछले 5 साल से वो थोड़ी सी बहुत ही 80 के ऊपर एज हो गया, अभी रिटायर कर गई, लेकिन कम से कम 60 साल तक, 6 डिकेड्स तक, 3 जनरेशन देश के नौजवान लोग 3 जनरेशन तक उनके गीत के कायल रह चुके. द पॉइंट इज डेवलप समथिंग व्हिच इज यूनिक इन यू and just focus on that without comparison. So don't compete. So you compete with yourself, your yesterday, for a better tomorrow. Do not compete with anyone else. Or do not be enamored by the baggage. मैंने कहाँ प्रोवीसी था, कहाँ डीन था, क्या किया, ये सब बैगेज है. अभी आपको याद भी नहीं रहेगा क्या बैकग्राउंड क्या था. जो शुरू में बहुत अच्छी तरह से एक जन ने मेरा बैकग्राउंड बताया और आपको वीडियो भी दिखाया गया, वो याद भी नहीं रहेगा. So it is not important what baggage you bring in when you come in. What is important is the footprints you leave when you walk out. ये 25 मिनट जो बात हुई है या उसके आगे के 15 मिनट जो बात होंगे, इसका अगर आपके जेहन में एक शब्द, एक वाक्य भी रह जाए, वो इसका इंपॉर्टेंस है इस 1 घंटे का. ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है कि जो आदमी आया था उसका पोजीशन क्या था या है, उसका डिग्री क्या था या है. ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. इंपॉर्टेंट ये है जो बात हुई थी उसके आपके जेहन में कोई फर्क होया नहीं. आज की तारीख में ये बहुत जरूरी है. When the world is losing mutual respect many a times, is very significant to be inspired by others and not live in competition but live in collaboration. Thank you.
Professor Chowdhury, it was really such a wonderful talk that we all got involved into this. And I was completely, while I was listening to you, I was completely thinking about the things which you were telling us. Obviously, you were directly addressing to the students, but then I believe that it was addressed to all the teachers as well who were there in the session. All these things were addressed to me as well. And I was continuously trying to further analyze and comprehend what you were saying. But then, taking this whole talk to the next level, I would like to ask certain questions to you. Like you told so many things, and you also told a lot of things about your personal life, about your professional life and all. But one aspect of your life you haven't talked about, that is your career in journalism. Because I know that you have been into journalism, you have been working with newspapers, and then even today, you are so much engrossed in writing columns, writing different kind of articles on contemporary issues and all. So, and then these are the students of journalism and mass communication who will be making career in different streams of media, and many of them must be going in content writing, in journalistic writing, must be joining the television news channels, must be joining the newspapers. So in that light, can you tell something about the journalism, that the journey that you have undergone, also the journalism of today, the contemporary things which are happening, and in that light, what all you can recommend to these young people who wish to join journalism?
One, the places that I have worked in my life are what you call the places. First was Blitz. That was a very powerful magazine at one point of time. Blitz, Rusi Karanjia's time, he was alive. First freelance work was with Independent. The Independent was Times of India's one part. That was freelance work. Then Blitz as an employee. After Blitz, Z News as an employee. Business India Group as an employee. TVI channel, that was a channel of the Business India Group. Television International, it was ahead of its times anyway. So that as I was an employee. And from Business India, I got a break as a director of Symbiosis Institute of Mass Communication. It was called at that time SIMC. Then it became, I made it Symbiosis Institute of Media and Communication, because everything is not mass communication. There are other forms of communication as well. So particularly in the era of internet, there can be intrapersonal, interpersonal, group, mass, all types of communication. So that was my next move. I think it was a 33rd year of life that I went into academics. Till then it was industry. And then from there on, I'm not getting into details, but I worked as Dean of Symbiosis, Dean of Amity University of Bombay, first Dean when the university was set up, Dean of Pearl Academy, Dean of Amsterdam Film School for 1 year, Dean of Whistling Woods International, the non-film education, the communication education, which is Subhas Ghai's Institute in Bombay. And then for 1 year, I was CEO of Accor Media in Dubai. I worked as a media advisor for 1 year in WHO in what you call this, Geneva. It was also work which was jointly between Japan and Geneva. And then, oh yeah, I have been consultant in Nepal for almost 2.5 years, several Himalaya TV, then newspaper called Abhiyan, magazine called New Business India, college called King's College, all this together. That was a joint, that was consultancy across many organizations. And then went back and Pearl Academy happened. And after Pearl Academy, I joined Adamas as Pro Vice Chancellor. So far I was Dean. For the first time, I became Pro Vice Chancellor. I've taken a sabbatical from a full-time job now, doing 3 projects, and probably the projects will grow, or maybe I'll get back to, I have an offer from one university in Calcutta and one in Aligarh. Either of that I will take up after Diwali, if at all. Or else if the projects go on well, it could be a different way of life. Now, okay. This is in what? Brief. Now, about the things for what you can do in life. First of all, be wedded to your skills and work and not wedded to an organization. Organizations will come and go. Yes, you have to fulfill the goals of the organization when you are in a responsible position. But the commitment is to the stakeholders. In case of media, your reader, your listener, your viewer is your first audience. And that is the commitment has to be to them. So that's the point one I'd like to say. 2, do not be wedded to a platform or a medium. It can be print today, tomorrow television, then radio, then online, or all of these fold together. I believe in convergence, coming of all media on one single platform, and that's what's happening post-pandemic. It is web-led, digital-led entertainment, web-led, digital-led journalism, more so through the mobile journalism, and web-led, media, digital-led branding. So there's digital PR, digital advertising, and even e-events or blended events going ahead. Yeah. So therefore, do not be wedded to any platform. You are wedded to communication, the function, and not the medium. That's the second point. And third point, be ready to question yourself and relearn. Unfortunately, academics don't relearn much. किसी जमाने में पढ़ाई हो गई है, उस डिग्री पे चलता है. So relearning, particularly in active media for sure. I believe in active academics also. Relearning and learning from anyone. My daughter has taught me many things which I haven't learned on my own. My first email ID is made by a student of Symbiosis. His name is, that time he was a student, 20 years ago. His name is G. Sampath Kumar. He is the associate editor of The Hindu in Chennai today. So he made my first email ID, ukc64@rediffmail.com. And while he made the email ID with a password and all, he said, while leaving my cabin, change the password, sir. Otherwise, I'll be checking your emails every night and you will not understand it. So I changed the password. So
Okay.
the point, over to you, sir.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask another question, which is again linked to this question, whatever you have told us all. This means you kept on evolving. You kept on exploring. So what will you suggest to the young people today? What all they should do for evolving themselves, and what course of action they should adopt to keep exploring, and how to find where their heart is, what exactly they need to take up in their life?
First of all, one should actually do multiple things to know what gives them biggest happiness, or where they find where they find themselves most comfortable. So you write, you speak, you record, you draw, you make a campaign, organize an event, work on as an RJ, work on the scripting, do 10-15 different things to actually understand what makes you happiest. Because it's just like a doctor. The doctor first studies the whole body. The doctor, the one who has become a heart specialist, did not know what he will do, whether he will do heart specialization when he started MBBS. So a doctor studies the whole body externally first. That external body is anatomy. I hope you know, remember that. You must have studied in class 9-10. Anatomy is the external facade of the body. And then there is physiology, which is inside the body, the entire system inside this structure. So anatomy and physiology, our doctor studies the entire thing, anatomy and entirety, in the first 2 or 3 years of MBBS. Almost entire MBBS, excepting last few months or last 1 year, where he starts thinking कि ये anatomy physiology में कौन पे किसी चीज पे मुझे फोकस करना है, दिल पे फोकस करना है तो हार्ट स्पेशलिस्ट एंड कार्डियक, एंड तो उसी तरह आप पूरे मीडिया को पहले पढ़ के फिर आप किसी एक या दो चीज पे स्पेशलाइज कीजिए. तो ये मैं इसके जवाब बोलूंगा. और पहले ही आप सोच लेते हैं ना पहले दिन, अरे मुझे तो एडवर्टाइजिंग में जाना है तो मुझे क्यों फिल्म सीखना है. अरे एडवर्टाइजिंग पूरी तरह फिल्मों के माध्यम से हो रहा है. मुझे तो एडवर्टाइजिंग में जाना है, अखबार न्यूज़पेपर टेलीविजन जानने की क्या जरूरत है. सारा एडवर्टाइजिंग अभी तक न्यूज़पेपर में होता था, उसके बाद टीवी में हो रहा था और अब online में जा रहा है. So
Professor Chowdhury, one thing that is missing mostly, and you also refer to that again and again, one thing that we all miss in our society is empathy. So can you suggest some measures or some way out to these students how to develop empathy?
हमारी जिंदगी में when we want something, मतलब एक मेरी बेटी है इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. LBD सबको याद है ना, लिटिल ब्लैक ड्रेस. एवरी गर्ल्स ड्रीम ड्रेस इज वन LBD इन लाइफ. सो आपको अगर LBD नहीं मिलता तो आपको लगता है जिंदगी में कुछ मिला ही नहीं. फिर आप जाके स्लम तक भी जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, लोअर मिडिल क्लास एरिया में बैठिए, थोड़े दिन में आपको मालूम हो जाएगा. LBD तो दूर की बात है, तीसरा ड्रेस भी नहीं है बहुत सारी लड़कियों के पास. तीसरा थर्ड ड्रेस भी नहीं है, दो ही है, और उसी में एक को पहनते हैं और दूसरे को धोते हैं, धो के सुखाते हैं तो फिर उसको पहनते हैं, पहले वाले को धोते हैं. So the point is, to understand how rich your life is, you have to just open your eyes. Because I know if you are a student of DME, you are at least middle to upper class, middle to upper middle class. So you are in the 22% of the country. Can you believe that? 78% of the country are financially in a emotionally, sometimes people can be even better, but financially, resource wise, security of life wise, much lower than you and me, much lower. And therefore, if you actually open your eyes, you'll understand that what you have, you'll be proud of that. There will always be someone above you, so no need to compete. So there will be always someone below you, so no need to be sad about what you have, because there will be always many people far lesser. अफगानिस्तान के सामने आप क्या महान हो? आप जहां पे खड़े हो आज, अफगानिस्तान जहां खड़ा है उसके हिसाब से आप महान हो। और ये दूसरी बात है कि आप और अच्छे कर सकते हो सकता है फिनलैंड के सामने आप अफगानिस्तान हो, हम अफगानिस्तान है फिनलैंड के सामने, लेकिन हमारे सामने जब अफगानिस्तान एक्चुअली है तो हमारी हालत बहुत बेहतर है। So while we look at Afghanistan and we should be proud or happy about what we are, then we look at Finland and want to be bigger, better. How can we be better and happier? That's my only.
Professor Chowdhury, you talked about relationships. I mean, you're telling us your own experience, your relationship with your father, and then you also refer to the broken relationship which are happening in today's time, the broken marriages of your students and all. But then, can you provide some suggestions as to how we can, if not stop, because obviously this is something which is a norm of the society, I mean, which is bound to happen, but how can we establish some such kind of system or mechanism wherein there are more strong relationships, more intimate bondings, whether it's between wife and husband, whether it's between one friend and another, or between a student and the teacher. I mean, how to consolidate these relationships in our society? Can you suggest something in this direction?
So with respect to couple relations, I am no love guru and I'm not going to make an attempt of that. So, and I have already, in my own life, there are broken relations. So I would not give you gyan. I will only say that any relationship based on power dynamics is bound to fail. Any relationships based on complete commitment to of one with the other is bound to succeed. It does not matter what is the what are the other parameters like finance, like looks, like A, B, C, D of the two persons, doesn't matter. If there is commitment and bonding genuinely, if the two persons are mutually respecting each other, then it will be almost bound to succeed. But if it is based on power dynamics, is bound to fail, even if it looks nice. Second point, if you have decided your relationship based on the resources of the other person, that resource could be looks, that resource could be money, that resource could be family property, that resource could be degrees, then the other person also may be disinterested in you on the same grounds sometime in life. If you have gone for a better looking person, that person also might find another better looking person than you and lose interest in you. If you have gone for an NRI guy who is very rich, that NRI guy also might find much more beautiful or richer person than you and might lose interest in you. So do not decide relationship based on parameters which the other person also can find in similar terms better than your case. So these resources don't matter. Decide on the person. Decide on the person and his values or her values and the type of bond that you share, the type of commitment that you have. So in my opinion, relationships begin first with the body, in the sense of liking of the eyes or sexuality and all that. At that point, it is largely lust and not love. It moves on to mind. For some people, it may begin with mind as well. So it goes to, second is heart, not mind. Heart, feelings. For some people, it may start with feelings and then move to body. But anyway, so body and heart are the first two things. Then comes mind, which is where your judgment comes. And if all the three have been, if both the persons in the relationship are in strong bond and a strong understanding emotionally, intellectually, and physically, then the next thing that comes goes beyond all the three. And that's what you call a soulmateship. Very tough. I'm only telling it. I know it's very tough. And 99% people, even they use the word soulmate in every second sentence in life, have not actually got soulmates in life. 99% people.
So, Professor Chowdhury, moving on, the one major problem that we find in today's time, though at all levels, but it's more at the level of the students, that they are facing the problems of mental health. And it's a big issue, maybe, for variety of reasons, maybe economic reasons, maybe some problems at home or otherwise. So how the youth of today can tackle this kind of problem, mental health? How do you look at this situation?
So I have a student of mine. His name is Abhay Singh Dutt. Abhay Dutt Sarma, sorry, ADS बोलते थे हम उसको, ads बोलते थे, ADS, Abhay Dutt Sarma. Now Abhay Dutt Sarma comes from a reasonably good, well-to-do family, single child, and when he was a student in the early years, first, second year, he had a lot of complaints of life, of everyone and all that. He's quite a good-looking guy, he used to dance very well, quite quick understanding, very good way with camera, good way with the script and all that, but still lot of complaints. And then because he was a pampered child, single child of a reasonably rich family and all that. And once he was sent for a program to Delhi. I mean, he was a Delhi guy, sent for a program to Delhi, where the program was called, I mean, we used to do in Symbiosis, this program is called Footprints. Every city, small groups of students organize Footprints. So he was in the Delhi team. And in Footprints, he has to go and invite youngsters from other colleges. And once he was going and in a bus, and the bus, got, there was some problem, mechanical problem, it got stopped. And he went, and people came down, and he was, cursing his time and his moment. Kya bakwas samay hai yaar, all that. Then he found that 4 blind kids were playing below a flyover. And the 4 blind kids, they're not beggars, but they come from slum area. They're not exactly beggars, but slum area, poor people. And they were very much enjoying among themselves. One had one eye was functioning. The other 3 kids were completely blind. And this guy was explaining to them, अब देखो ये लाल होता है, तुम तो समझोगे नहीं लाल क्या होता है, like that. अब इसका ये गोल है, ये ऐसा है. फिर कुछ, all those things. I'm not getting into it. He told that when he came back, his experience, he told it to the class. So he stood there for 30 minutes and observed how this half-blind guy was explaining the world around to the 3 full-blind guys, and the 4 were enjoying like anything in a big time. Then he thought, यार ये लोग इतना हंस रहे हैं, इतना एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, है नहीं कुछ इनके पास, यहाँ तक भी आंखों की दृष्टि भी नहीं है, उसके बावजूद भी मेरे पास तो सब कुछ है. The point is, mental health problem comes when you start look at yourself through the eyes of others. If you think, suppose I and Tanishka Tiwari are classmates, and I'm very interested that Tanishka has a great impression about me, but she does not, then that creates my mental health, a challenge to my mental health, because I am judging myself through the eyes of Tanishka. Now, if I have self-confidence, I'll go to Tanishka and say, "Ay Tanishka, tu bol, मेरे से तेरा क्या problem है? क्या प्रॉब्लम दिखता है? Let her tell, गालियां देना, कोई बात नहीं, जो बोलना है बोल." अब वो 4 चीज बोलेगी, उसको आप इवैल्यूएट मेंटली प्रोसेस करना, 2 चीज सही बोल रही है, वो 2 चीज से आप लेसन लेना, बाकी 2 अगर गलत भी बोल रहे हैं तो भूल जाइए. तो mental health will only be strong if you do not look at yourselves through the eyes of others. If you are not there to impress everyone every moment, and they don't get impressed, you have depression. If you are not competing with others every moment, so this is a psychological issue. So there could be a physiological issue also. वो अलग बात है, मैं उसमें नहीं जा रहा हूँ. वो autopsy and others are physiological issue. But I'm talking about mental health. आपकी expectation यहाँ है, लाइफ इधर है, आपकी कोशिश बहुत नीचे है और लाइफ इधर है, तो मेंटल हेल्थ होगा जी. ओवर एक्सपेक्टेशन से भी मेंटल हेल्थ होता है.
So Professor Chowdhury, in your talk you also talked about setting goals in life, right? So we would like to know, how did you decide your goals in life? What all is left that you would have planned you will do in your life? And in that light, can you suggest these students how they should approach deciding their goals?
इस मोमेंट में मेरा गोल था, जो सुन रहे हैं वो सुने. तो देखा मैंने कि 62 या 66 थे, अभी भी 56 है, यानी 1 घंटा 10 मिनट बाद भी अगर 56 लोग हो तो अभी का गोल तो फुलफिल हो गया. तो गोल बहुत बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ब्रॉड गोल्स तो होने चाहिए, नो डाउट, लेकिन हर छोटी छोटी चीज बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. अलाउ द लाइफ टू इवॉल्व एज वेल, allow the life to evolve. Today, Ambrish ji and me, we are trying to create Global Media Education Council. Now, this wasn't a goal 6 months ago, for example. This wasn't a goal. Lot of things happened around us during this period that inspired कि शायद ये काम कर सकते हैं हम लोग. 6 या 8 महीना पहले नहीं था ये गोल. So goals may evolve, but broad एक, मेरा अगर बोलोगे कि broad क्या है, I would like to be in the world of media and media education. nurturing talent and creating content. This is the broad goal. That's all. वो कभी एडमस यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोविसी बनकर हो सकता है, वो कभी एम्स्टर्डम फिल्म स्कूल का डीन बनकर हो सकता है, वो सिम्बायोसिस का मीडिया स्कूल स्टार्ट करने से हो सकता है, कुछ भी कहीं भी हो सकता है, आगे कुछ और भी हो सकता है जो मैं नहीं जानता हूं अभी. समझो गोवा में एक नया यूनिवर्सिटी बना केवल मीडिया और डिजाइन का, केवल, और मैं उसका पहला वाइस चांसलर बना, शायद हो सकता है. दैट कुड, बट वो आपका एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ दैट मोमेंट है. गोल आपका ब्रॉड है कि मुझे मीडिया और मीडिया एजुकेशन में रहना है, टैलेंट नर्चर करना है, उन्हें दुनिया के सामने रखना है और खुद को भी कंटेंट प्रोड्यूस करना है. दैट्स ऑल. मोटा मोटा गोल वही है.
So Professor Chowdhury, moving on towards the conclusion of the program, I would like to ask you, if you look back, whatever you have done till this date in life, so if you look back, what is that one moment that is the most cherishable moment of your life?
So I was asked to make a film on the discrimination faced by people who are completely cured, but once upon a time were victims of leprosy. So even after completely getting cured, people still call them Maharogi, Kodhi, leper, and differentiate, discriminate, and they are put outside the society. Whereas they are no more infectious, they are just cured. Maybe the fingers are twisted or something is there. So उनके ऊपर मैं एक फिल्म बना रहा था. वो फिल्म बनाते वक्त उस फिल्म में एक शॉट था जिसमें एक लड़का क्लास का टॉपर था, जब वो सरकारी स्कूल में पढ़ता था. When the principal came to know much later, because his parents never went to the school, it was neighbor who came and admitted and uncle who came and admitted and all that. So once जब बाद में मालूम पड़ा कि उसके दोनों माँ बाप लेप्रेसी के शिकार हुए थे, लेकिन अब सुस्त हो गए, स्वस्थ हो गए, but they are called quote unquote kodhi or lepers, he was asked to leave the school because the other students and parents objected. And he was standing first in his class. He was a class 8 student. So I was asked by World Health Organization to make a film on this discrimination and why and how it can be eradicated, taking cases from all over the country. This story is from Jharkhand. So when I was shooting this story, this boy started, मैं class 8 का मैं टॉपर था, फलाना स्कूल में था, लेकिन मुझे निकाल दिया गया, बल्कि वो चुप हो गया. और जब चुप रहा, उसके आंखों से सिर्फ पानी गिर रहा था. और वो जो शॉट, पावरफुल शॉट था, उस शॉट को मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट्री में यूज किया और वो लास्ट शॉट था. उसके बाद कुछ क्वेश्चन उठाया गया, क्वेश्चन स्क्रीन पे थे. और जब इनको मैंने यूनाइटेड नेशंस ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन UNHRC और WHO का जॉइंट सेशन में 500 लोगों के सामने, जो कम से कम 170 देश के प्रतिनिधि हैं, जब ये डॉक्यूमेंट्री दिखाया गया और 500 लोग खड़े होकर तालियां मारे, I felt I really had a great blessing that day. That's a cherishable moment. And
thank you, Professor Chowdhury. One last thing, at what note you would like to leave this session? Any final expression, any final statement, any final thing that you would like to tell these students, and that would be the concluding remark from your side?
Go back to home, go back to your friends and love them 1 ounce more than what you did till yesterday. That's all.
Thank you, Professor Chowdhury, to be with us for so long. It was really an enjoyable experience. And I am damn sure that everybody, whosoever is in this session, at the end of the day, because these days, these students are undergoing the orientation program of the second year and the third year. So they were there in classes right from 9:30 till evening. And then this session is happening. But still, if so many students are here and they are listening to you, everybody would have got inspired. At least I feel inspired, and this inspiration will further lead us towards something good in life, towards advancement in life. So with this note, I conclude this session. Thank you, Professor Chowdhury. Thank you all.
Would you mind if you allow everyone to unmute? Any 2 persons on your own, I'll not tell names, on your own, give 1 minute, 2 minute, reaction. What do you think is one sentence or one idea that you'll take back home today? Koi bhi. कोई भी एक या दो जन बोलिए.
Mudita, you can unmute the students and anybody who would like to say something.
कोई
Yeah,
भी.
any of the students, do you want to say something, any expression or anything, or even the teachers? I mean, the
Yes.
teachers are there in the session.
Dr. Manasvi is writing, never give up, be positive and focus. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Any student would like to either write or speak? I would love to hear your voice. You can even come on video and speak. Because that humanizes. Otherwise, everything is a routine. In digital, this is routine. So it will be a humanist, it will be humanizing only if I listen to your voice. Ekjan, dojan, bas, anyone on your own.
Yeah, students, anybody can take the lead.
Yes, Drishya Madhur, हाथ उठाया. बताइए आप. Drishya ji, बताइए.
Good evening, sir. First
Good
of all,
evening.
it was wonderful hearing you, and I really like the thing that you told about focusing on the long-term goals and not on the materialistic viewpoints. So I would like to take that.
Thank you. Thank you. But आप सबको materialistically भी सफल होना है. आपको decent income भी करनी है, decent life भी जीना है, क्योंकि if you can do constructive and creative things only when you आपके basic चीजें सब taken care हो गया, आप एक level के ऊपर आए तो ही आप कर सकते हैं. That's also करना है. ठीक है, but you should have a long-term goal. Thank you. Any one more person. I know it's 18 now. I understand. One more person. कोई भी. Kunal, Yash, Saubhik, Vani, Shivans, Pragati, anyone.
Sir, I would just like to say that from all whatever you have wonderfully explained, I think what I get from this, what I gain from this is that one should have a piece of satisfaction from themselves. I mean, obviously, one should strive more and test their capability and go one step forward. But at the same time, we should have a sense of acceptance that okay, this is also we should be happy with what we have ourselves.
Right.
So I think that's a good lesson of life.
If you love yourself, you will love the rest of the world. Please first start loving yourself. If someone really loves himself or herself, he will not be addicted to drugs. He will not be addicted to alcohol. He will not be addicted to anything that creates harm in his body or mind. He will not be addicted to any abusive relation. He will not be addicted to many other things. Love yourself first, the rest will follow.
So I think on behalf of all the students, I can say that one of the key takeaways of today is how you talk about self-acceptance.
Yes.
You, in all the walks of life, be it family, be it relationship, be it career, anything, you need to explore yourself and accept yourself. And it is honestly one of the most inspiring things that I have heard in a very long time, your journey. And to know somebody like you and to know the kind of self-acceptance and the kind of, the growth and the evolution one can go through via sheer determination. I think a lot of students are shy and they're not opening their mics, but that is one of the key takeaways that I'm personally getting in the chat box, that self-acceptance at the end of the day is, I think, the key to positive psychology and mental health.
Please accept yourself, right? Self-acceptance is very important. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Professor Chowdhury, and that is how we conclude this program. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, namaste.
The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects. Nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.